I'm particularly excited about the inclusion of Inge King's sculpture Dancer. It is a bronze from 1992. Inge King is a very significant Australian sculptor. She arrived in Australia, a German emigre who had lived in Scotland and had trained as an artist there. She came in 1951 with her husband Graham King. Graham King was a contemporary of Fred Williams and John Brack, so they were immediately made welcome, and they sat very much within a local Melbourne scene. As to sculpture of the early 50s in Melbourne, and indeed throughout Australia, there was very little of a scene to speak of. There was conventional and conservative pedestal sculpture, but there was very little by way of abstraction. And Inge King had come from a European and Northern Hemisphere tradition of abstraction or semi-figurative sculpture. Dancer is a wonderful example of that, although much later, from 1992, it bears all the hallmarks of her understanding of a figure. When she worked her way through the 60s, she found, and the world found indeed locally, that sculpture was much more widely seen and collected. And Inge King became, a sort of founding member of the new sculpture, so-called, of the 60s in Melbourne and in Australia. She went on to produce corporate works outdoors. She did commissions. She was an active sculptor who drew not only from the landscape, but in this case from the figure. She worked in steel. She actually welded steel together into abstract forms, and she worked in bronze. It is a particularly good example of her art.